What's going on, you guys? Welcome back to channel Anderzen. Let's go ahead and get the video started. So today we have a couple jobs to do. Last time you'll see some videos inserted, but last week I tried to put a solid bushing and weld up the spare shift mechanism I have. So I'm gonna try to throw that in today as well, and fingers crossed that it fits. It should. It measures up pretty close to what we ended up fabricating out of the Crossfire shift mechanism, if you guys remember. If you haven't seen that, go back and check the full manual swap episode. But anyways, we're gonna try to swap that out today. Definitely try to show you as much as I can throughout the process of both of those things. And yeah, let's go. Some American muscle sounds for you guys. The 44 Ford, that has a 5.0 liter out of the old Fox bodies. I just tried to fill up my windshield washer fluid, and then I realized it was leaking from the bottom because that little hose had come off at the end. So noof. All right, so anyways, we made it, got the car jacked up. I'm gonna go ahead and start with putting the shifter in. Now, I'm probably not gonna record most of this process. You guys have seen what that looks like before, but I will take the drive shaft out, have to take one of the braces off, you gotta undo the flex disc to get the drive shaft out. Then after that, I should be able to access that front pin on the shifter and try to get all that stuff out. So I'm gonna try to do this efficiently, so I won't film much of it. Here is the shifter that I'm gonna be putting in. We welded this part together, hit it with a quick coat of paint. Not pretty, but it'll do the job. And this one, I'll pop up the part number for this one. It's about 18 inches from the front bushing to the middle of the shifter, which is very close to what we ended up customizing the Crossfire one to fit in this car. So fingers crossed, like I said, it works. This is the Delrin bushing I put in the front. Used a little bit of a JB Weld to secure it in there. It had like just a tiny bit of wiggle room, so now it's nice and solid. And these were bushing control before, and there was a little slop in them, but now nice and solid as well. The reverse cable and the cable that controls left and right movement of the shifter is a different length than what's in there now. It's a little bit shorter, so I think that it will help a little bit with the shifter feel as well, so it's not kind of getting bound up. Hasn't been much of an issue, but I'm sure it'll improve a little bit, so I'm excited. The other thing too, it has a proper bracket on it. So we custom made the bracket that's in there right now. So yeah, we'll just see. I'm not getting my hopes up yet until we know that it fits for sure, but I'm excited if it does. So we'll see. All right, so before we start pulling off the bottom, I went ahead and pulled this out just so it's easier. There's nothing actually attaching the shifter to the top of the car. Normally there's a boot that goes here that kind of attaches, but I mean, part of that boot I got rid of because it was just annoying. The one thing I will swap over is this little tiny bolt that I ended up using instead of the pin that's in there. I just prefer that. It's a little more secure. And I will have to do the same threading that I did on the other shifter as well. So once I get this one out, then we can match them up and do it properly. All right, so progress so far. Got the, I'm talking the video. Progress so far, I got the transmission bracket off of the trans. It's nice because these exhaust brackets help hold it up a little bit, but I still put the jack under there just to be safe. So now we need to undo these T60 Torx on the flex disc, and I will also need to get these little bolts off of the aluminum shield so that when the drive shaft gets undone, it can come out. And then we can start taking a look at dismantling the shift linkage. All right guys, so lots of hardware on the floor later. We have all of the bolts out for the flex disc. We took the bracket off for the shifter, custom one that I made, sitting right there. And also got the heat shielding out. You can see now I have access to all of the drive shafts, so I'm gonna go ahead and pop this out and pull it down. All right, drive shaft is out. See our rusty old shifter in here, and back of the splines look great. So I also wanted to kind of inspect everything while I'm in here to see how everything's holding up so far. Looks great. The one thing I'm gonna do that I didn't do last time is hard to see right now, but there's some balance marks on the back half of the transmission, or back half of the axle, or god dang, drive shaft. And there's also a mark on the front piece right there. So I'm gonna try to make sure those are lined up this time. I mean, they were balanced separately, so who knows if it'll make a difference, but just in case, I'll try that next time. Drive shaft is holding up well. Here's how much we lopped off of the front. Looks great, doesn't look weird at all. So everything's holding up solid. There is part number if you guys are curious. This is out of a W204 C300 manual. So, all right, now is the time. I'm gonna start pulling the flex disc and get that shifter out of there. All right, so we got both of these shift mechanisms. Here's the old one that we customized. And it looks like they're pretty close, like maybe a ½ inch at most difference between the two. This one's a little bit longer, but it should still fit up in there. I'm gonna test fit it right now, and then if I can verify it after test fitting, then I will start to do the modification to the actual shift lever here. Okay, so the shifter just barely doesn't clear off of the chassis. There is stay on light. There is just barely, like literally less than a ¼ inch of the shifter part hitting on the chassis before it can make it up. The plastic piece, no problem, but so what I'm gonna do is just file a little bit down off of the end of the shifter, and then I can file the same amount off of the actual chassis hole if I need to. But I'll start with that and see if we can get it up in there. All right, so it's literally just this tiniest little notch in here that's catching. So I'm gonna file that part down a little bit, and then maybe a tiny bit of this back edge, and it should be cleared. All right, so I got the shifter notched. Probably took a little more than a ¼ inch off of this. Grinded out the back portion a bit as well. I just sprayed some rust converter on this because all of these, the brackets always rust out. It's still totally fine structurally, but figured, you know, I'm gonna care about this piece, so might as well do a little rust conversion on it real quick. It's just the stuff that sprays on clear and then converts it. So I'll let this dry, and then we'll see if this fits properly now that I've cleared that top portion. All right, guys, well, as much as the purist in me did not want to notch the frame, or the chassis rather, had to do it. It was just off by a tiny bit, and kept grinding away at the shifter, filing it down, and it just didn't want to sit nice. So we took, I don't know, maybe a ¼ inch off. It was kind of an annoying job, tough angle to get tools in there, but should be good now. So for the last time, fingers crossed that this thing fits. All right, guys, well, you know when you have one of those days where something takes a lot longer than it was supposed to? Today was one of those days. This is a pain in the butt. Shouldn't have been. I should have just notched the chassis from the get-go. Would have saved a lot of time, but okay, it's all back together though. The good thing, after all this work, the shifter does feel a lot more crisp. I'm excited to drive it right now. So the next part of this video, you will see me with an update of how it drove. So far still good. It's definitely noisier than before, but that's to be expected. I mean, you have everything solid there now, and it seems to be shifting well, but we'll see once we can actually get it up to speed. Just letting it warm up right now, kind of easing into things. right, guys, so it's working, but honestly, I don't know, I might have done the wrong thing here. The shifts feel great as far as hand feel, but the rest of the car, you can tell there's a lot of vibration going on, and I didn't expect it to translate as much as vibration as it is. So I don't know, I might have to go back to the drawing board on this one. You know, maybe I could do, instead of a Del ring in the front, maybe I could do a polyurethane. Man, yeah, it's too harsh. It's not feeling very pretty. And you can probably hear on camera how loud it's making the just overall drivetrain. Transmission is like every noise from the transmission is just being brought straight up into the cabin. Tell, like even the engine noise is like being transmitted right. It sounds like it's right here next to me, and I think that's because the way the bracket is, how it connects to the chassis right underneath. I think that bracket right there is probably just taking a ton of that vibration and transmitting it through the chassis. I thought because the backside, I still left the rubber bushings on the backside of the mechanism, and there's some basically at the top fulcrum points and the bottom, and I thought that would be enough to absorb it, but no, I don't think so. Yeah, there's a lot of noise going on. Doesn't feel good. Doesn't sound good either. So, you know, we tried to do something different, and the good thing is it can be undone. I got 2 other shift mechanisms I can mess with, so all right, not gonna lie, I'm a bit disappointed just with the way that went. You gotta win some and lose some, I guess, when you're trying to modify a car like this. And they're mechanical objects, so the nice thing is you can always undo or fix things that you might have done wrong. In this scenario, you know, if I could go back, I'd probably undo even doing this. It just wasn't worth it. Too much MVH, too much just harshness in the drivetrain from having it like this. So I'll have to undo this one. This is one of those times where people tell you, you know, you can't engineer better than the Mercedes engineers, and this is definitely one of those times. So learn my lesson. I'll try to meet a happy medium between having it this modified and, you know, how it came stock. So maybe I can find a balance in between. Otherwise, I'll just return it to stock. No problem. So we'll see. Thank you guys for watching. Sorry for the failure. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace.